May I have your attention, please? Before I call to order the special meeting for today, June 27th, 2024, to entertain the items on the agenda, even though it's not protocol and not usually done, I'm going to say a few words, and hopefully they'll be well received. Having been a lifelong resident of Lackawanna and given my age, I've seen many things happen in this city. And the one thing I'm most proud of is that the community residents, even under the most adverse situations, most controversial situations, the most difficult situations, always stick together. And that's no different for the members of your council, people in the department heads that you see that are here in front of you, that have never stopped working to address this very emotional issue. To that end, I know in light of the fact that this being a special meeting, there's no caucus where there's a discussion or debate or opinions rendered by members of the city council, nor is there a dialogue between members of the community in the gallery and members of the city council. There's no questions, there's no comments. The people in front of you have worked tirelessly to address what concerns have been raised by yourselves on what is being proposed as the tax increase for this city. Given the level of emotion, the level of concern, I'd like you all to know that your voices obviously were heard, loud and clear. To that end, Second Ward Councilman Carl Anderson and myself had a meeting this morning with our Controller's office, Peggy B. Sobel, who is here, and Mike Etu, who is here, and we went through the proposed budget, and in order to hopefully diffuse any ill feelings or anger, we have come up with what we propose to offer as an amended budget. This is not normally the time that this is introduced to you, but I would like you to know that that is what we intend to do. As a result of those efforts, instead of a $20.53 increase, we have worked the budget so that there is, or not a $20 increase, a $20.53 per thousand tax rate. We have worked out a $17.52 tax rate. And instead of a 24% tax increase, it works out to be a 4.6% tax increase. That's if it passes this council. So hopefully that, if it passes, will assuage some of your concerns, your fears, and of course your concern and your anger, quite frankly. In anticipation that this may pass, I would personally like to thank certain people in this room who have put forth the effort that resulted in a group, a team, if you like of a better phrase, effort, and it includes Mayor Iafallo, especially Peggy B. Sobel, Michael Etu from the Controller's office, some members of this city council. We have Chuck Clark, who's our Public Information Officer and Director of Development, and John Gaughan, our city attorney, who have stood before you and taken the brunt of the vitriol that has been expressed over this proposed tax increase. I can't thank them enough for their efforts to that end. And furthermore, there have been efforts by our state legislator, Pat Berg, and our county legislator, John Gilmore, to find funds to contribute to help allay this and reduce this tax burden. But more importantly and more significantly, and someone who was present to show his concern and his support for this city, one of our favorite sons, Mark Poloncarz, is our county executive, and he's here in the back of the room. County Executive Poloncarz, thank you for being here. Not only that, but you have made available funds in the amount of $800,000, if I'm not mistaken, that although won't go to operating funds, will go to other aspects of the city budget, which will in the future help defray some of these costs. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for being here. But most importantly, I would like to thank our second ward councilman, Carl Anderson, because he pursued this proposed amendment doggedly and with tirelessly and relentlessly. So Carl, I would thank you personally for your efforts, and it was a pleasure to join you this morning in our discussions with Peggy and Mike, and thank God we were able to arrive at what may be acceptable to this council, and ultimately and hopefully more acceptably to the people here in this room and to our community at large. With that, I am formally calling to order this June 27, 2024 meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I would ask our city clerk to call the roll.
Kulaki, present. Anderson.
Here.
Moretti.
Here.
Sirdike.
Present.
Morano.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
Assistant Comptroller.
Here.
Public Works.
Here.
Public Safety.
Here.
Development, Marketing, and Public Information.
Here.
Recreation.
Here.
There will be no communications or comments from the public, obviously. Moving on to communications from the mayor. Item number 1.
Mayor, I follow request the City Council approve the local law to override the property tax levy for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
To that end, I don't know how many people are really familiar with what the tax cap means, especially for today's purposes. And I would call on our city attorney, John Gunn, to explain that to you.
So briefly, there's two concepts that a lot of people confuse or think are related when they're totally not. Constitutional tax limit, which is not being discussed tonight, or the tax cap, which is under the General Municipal Law, Section 3C, which basically in 2012, New York State came through with this legislation stating that the tax cap on an annual basis should not exceed a certain percentage. But if it does exceed that percentage, you have to go through a process in order to attempt to exceed the rate of the tax cap. So in a nutshell, that is the breakdown of what the tax cap is, and basically what the first item on the agenda is. One more comment is that it's not common practice, but it's also not infrequent. So you have to realize that throughout New York State, this item is addressed on a regular basis in all the towns and municipalities throughout New York State. Not every municipality annually, but a lot of places address this same thing, what this council is about to address. Council President, is that sufficient?
Yes, thank you, John. And just to piggyback on that, the tax cap is at 2%, so the council can't raise taxes beyond that unless we override the tax cap. And in this instance, as I said earlier, the proposed increase would be a 4.6% increase. So that does require action on the tax. To that end, Morano makes a motion to receive and file the communication from Mayor Iafallo and act on local law number 12024.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson, to receive and file act on local law number 1, 2024. Maflahe? No. Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-1. The provisions of General Municipal Law, Section 3C, which places limitations upon real property tax levies. The City of Lackawanna, due to financial constraints, overrides the property tax levy limit for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Morano moves to amend the proposed mayor's budget to,
We're not on that.
oh,
We're
I'm
on,
sorry.
we're on the ordinance for item number 1.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Morano moves to adopt local law number 12024 as written. Anderson second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson, to adopt local law number 1, 2024 as written. Maflahe? No. Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. Oh, 4-1, sorry. Mayor, I follow request the City Council approve the current expense budget for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
Morano moves to receive and file. However, I move also to amend the proposed expense budget, in particular to amend and eliminate and remove from the proposed budget item, the first item under page 533, heading Future Debt Service Requirements, in the amount of $1,161,953.70.
Just one correction, it's page 53,
Or 53,
not
thank you.
553. Thanks.
Is there a second? Anderson second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson, to receive and file, amend proposed expense budget, eliminating line 1 of page 53. Maflahe? No. Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-1. An ordinance amending the current expense budget for 2024-2025 fiscal year with the entire amount of $13,529,323 is determined to be necessary to be raised by taxation to defray expenses of the city for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
And that figure of $13,529,320, strike that, $13,529,323 replaces the $15,850,440. So it would be as amended. Morano moves to adopt ordinances as amended. Anderson said.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson, to amend the ordinance as written, to adopt the ordinance as amended. Maflahe? No. Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-1.
I'm also going to make a motion for an ordinance that the amount of $1,159,117 from the capital fund be used to repay the general fund and be applied towards the tax levy for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson, to approve the ordinance authorizing an interfund advance between the general fund and the capital fund in the amount of $1,159,117. Maflahe? No. Anderson?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 4-0. 4-1, sorry.
Unless there's anything else, Morano moves to adjourn. Anderson seconds.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to adjourn meeting. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson? Moretti?
Yes.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano? Carried.
Yes.